So I normally do not make two videos in the same day, but I'm gonna do it today because I remember something and I probably should have done it in the moment. I probably should have made this video in the moment when it occurred to me. But last week, because when I came off of that video where I was talking about like the struggles of being a long-winded writer, all of my stuff is really like documenting my journey. So you guys are gonna see this, and then I love watching YouTubers where you see this type of setup. Not trying to look so basic or anything like that, but this is like the real thing, right? And yeah, so moving on from that. See, this is why I'm long-winded now. Moving on from that, last week week before last, when I sent in chapter 5 for Davian, I felt the improvement. I was incredibly in love with that chapter. I loved his voice. I loved him. I loved the scenes. I loved the movement. I loved everything. And my editor loved it as well, right? And this chapter, I'm not incredibly in love with it as much as I am before. And I think I have to sit with myself and say why. But when I made that chapter 5, it made me realize, let me go back so you guys see all of me, that I might not be an author yet, but I am a writer. And I think when I get really big, people will know me as that. And I just believe there's such a difference between being a writer and an author. Anyone who published a book is an author. Even persons who didn't technically write the book, they could have had a ghostwriter, which is, listen, if that's what you want to do, do it. But even people who never wrote a book, but they hired a ghostwriter, they're an author, right? Like, we characterize them as authors. A writer, to me, is not better than an author. That's snarky. Like, who am I, or who is anyone to say that one career or one passions or one whatever is better than the other, right? But for me in my life and where I see myself, I loved when I realized that I was a writer much more than the dream of being an author. And let me say why. Writing to me is like that skill that I can own. Like, you always see these movies with like painters and writers who are just incredibly talented, and you as a writer might not have had that. Like, I was not someone who got straight A's in English class and literature and stuff like that, but there was this love. And when I saw what I could produce through hard work and through, I really believe, the grace of God, I was like, crap, I'm a writer. And it hit me, like, it hit me hard. And it was just so good to realize that. So it can be really discouraging. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be easy. I don't know what I wanted to say at the end of the day. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Even with incredible stuff, it took me hours to write that. Even though, like, I was in love with it, I love how it moved, it still wasn't easy. So honestly, I'm gonna go back to chapter 7. I probably can just cut a lot of stuff, to be honest. And just feel how I felt before, and I think it might be unreal. It might be real. And it probably won't be realistic to have that feeling every single chapter, but I just want a feeling of I was being honest. And mind you, when you just putting stuff out on the paper, yeah, but at this moment, I'm really at this stage of my writing of this book, right? At this particular stage is not me getting the stuff out on the paper, it's me trying to develop it. So now it's the time where I have to add the meat and the fat and the things that move the story. So, the last video could have looked very, I don't know, but I just, I want to look back and be like, I didn't give up on myself. And I think that writing is not natural. Like, a natural grace or talent to me is something that I had to prune and develop and take heavy constructive and kind criticism for, right? And I had to move from it. It's like it wasn't just this talent, it was I earned it. I earned it. I took my time. I developed my skills. So if you're watching this and you're not future Alie, who's probably going to be crying and happy that this 24-year-old girl didn't give up on writing, period, point blank. If you're just a regular person who, well, you're not regular, you're fabulous, right? But if you're just, normal, not famous or whatever, and you didn't really have that talent, but you have a passion for stories, and I think a passion for truth and truth being told, I think honestly that's a part of me, is just wanting the truth to be told and loving stories and just deciding that writing is how I want to show it. Then don't give up. You're gonna have moments like I had that moment with 5, but listen, I'm gonna try and go and reproduce that, and we can see how that go. Okay, peace, love, and blessings, hunties.